Barack Obama said, "Climate change has the potential to have devastating effects on people all over the planet, and we need to do something about it. We need to mobilize internationally." International business is something that, although not present in our daily conversations, has an impact on us every day. Thanks to globalization, we have been able to create a more intercultural society with a stronger intercommunication, making negotiations between different countries easier to conduct. But this has been affected by an event that concerns us all: climate change. According to the Euro-Mediterranean Center on Climate Change, this is defined as a variation in climate attributed directly or indirectly to human activities, which alter the composition of the global atmosphere. Climate change has been one of the most challenging events for humanity in recent years. As gas emissions from the burning of fossil fuels continue to rise, the Earth's temperature has reached 1.2 degrees over the last century. According to a NASA study, in 1880, the average temperatures of the planet was minus 0.16 degrees, and in 2020 that temperature exceeded 1 degree Celsius for the first time. If we continue to incentivize gas emission in this way, according to the UN and the United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, it is likely that the Earth's temperature will exceed 1.5 degrees between 2030 and 2050. And according to the IPCC, we would have to reduce the world's carbon emission by 45% by 2030 to avoid a catastrophe, which is practically impossible. But how will international business be affected by climate change? Given the consequences of this phenomenon, such as global warming, the increase in natural disasters, crop breakdown, and the appearance of new pests and diseases, this has resulted in increased awareness on part of non-governmental organizations. Climate change represents a challenge for companies worldwide. The negative effects of climate change can affect their costs as well as their production process by having to reduce the use of certain raw materials or looking for substitutes. Therefore, one of the greatest challenges that companies will face in the future, and that some are already implementing, will be to invest in innovation systems that will enable them to develop a low-carbon economy. According to the World Trade Organization and the United Nations Environment Programme, in a few more years, companies will see their comparative advantages affected, causing changes in the structure of international trade. This effect will be felt to a greater extent in those countries whose comparative advantage is provided by climate reasons. If future warming and the increase in the frequency with which extreme weather events continue, this will lead to a reduction in agricultural yields, causing the countries or regions most dependent on these to experience a reduction in their exports, thus causing a reduction in their income. Extreme weather events such as hurricanes, floods, earthquakes, and fires can lead to temporary closures at ports and airports, including transport routes, causing damage to infrastructure essential for the transport and distribution of goods to other countries. Disruptions in supply, transportation, and distribution chains will cause international trade costs to rise, affecting the performance of companies on a global scale. Climate change causes variation in the production of goods and services, modifying the consumption patterns of buyers and thus affecting the strategies of businessmen, who will have no choice but to adapt these new changes, regardless of the monetary and social consequences they entail. If we continue to neglect our natural resources, in another 10 years, we will find ourselves with ecosystem failures, the death of hundreds of species, the death of fauna, and due to the felling of trees and burning of fossils, and in some cases, irreparable damage, which even if we take the necessary measures today, it will not be possible to recover those parts of the planet. And in consequence, it is going to be more challenging for the companies to succeed in the international labor field. So, the principal task for the future companies will be to find opportunities that improve people's quality of life, investing more in environmental issues, since this is the future. Barack Obama said, "We are the first generation to feel the effects of climate change and the last generation that can do something about it."